Today, we're diving deep into the sticky situations that can shake even the strongest relationships. Whether it's a disagreement with your best friend or a heated moment with your partner, these quarrels can feel overwhelming. But don't worry, we've got the insights you need to turn conflict into connection. Let's get into it. Welcome to Black Girl Infinite Allure, the podcast where we embark on a journey to a beautiful life together. I'm Jay Ebony, and as a Black woman navigating the complexities of lifestyle, relationships, and finances, I'm here to share insights, stories, and inspiration. Let's explore, grow, and thrive together. Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome back to the Black Girl Infinite Allure podcast. I am your host, Jay Ebony. I am so happy that you are joining me, and I thank and appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying the podcast. If our episodes have inspired you or added value to your life, I have a small favor to ask. Please subscribe, follow, like, share, rate, and review the podcast. Your support is crucial in helping us grow and spread the word. If Black Girl Infinite Allure has made a positive impact on you, the best way to give back is through word of mouth. Sharing our podcast with others not only helps us reach a wider audience, but also helps others discover the content that you've found meaningful. Remember, rating and reviewing our podcast makes a big difference too, as it helps others find us more easily. Thank you so much for your continued support and for being a part of this journey. Hey y'all, I am so glad to be back. I know it's been a few weeks since I dropped an episode. I'm so upset with myself, but I must say life has been lifing. I have been getting dragged like a rag doll through these life streets, and I've I've been saying I want to get off this ride now. But we back. Everything has been getting taken care of, and that's all that matters. So, what's been going on with me? Well, recently my boo had a milestone birthday and we were busy celebrating him. Kept it low key the day of and sent him off for a full body and foot massage. And then we later had a seafood dinner with the kids, and we turned up for the weekend in Connecticut at Foxwoods Casino. It was nice. I've never stayed at their hotel, but it's super expensive, but we got the hookup on the room. And my brother and sister-in-law were with us. So it was a nice time. And it makes you forget that you're in Connecticut, my home state. But since then, it's just been school shopping and prepping the kids for school. I decided to redo the boys' room and get rid of stuff. Leave it to me to do this during crunch time. Oh my God, shaking my head. The boys got new beds, and my 14-year-old Cameron started taking the previous bed apart. He must have been tired of that shit. He yeeted that bed, mattress, all that out and got started. But he ended up putting his bed together and helped my son Makai with his the next day. I just love making sure that they have a nice desk area to focus when it's time for schoolwork. So I wanted to revamp that. And my daughter Tori, we've been reorganizing her room and getting through her clothes to make sure that we had room for all the new stuff that she got. So it's been crazy. But she got a new desk and a chair for her homework area in her room. And I just love how everything came out, and it makes me feel good. I feel prepared for fall. They started school at the beginning of September, and a few little hiccups, but we're getting through it. But I think that's everything. So today's episode, I thought of it because everybody can relate to relationships and the trials and tribulations of them, whether they're romantic, platonic, friendships, family, whatever. They all got quarrels, and I always be trying to figure something out. I don't think there's a limit to learning all that we can about how to cope and navigate with these relationships. So I want to talk about it and share what I'm learning with y'all. So, what are three of the most common quarrels in both romantic and platonic relationships? I would say communication breakdowns, trust issues, and balancing time and priorities, point blank, period. I always find myself afterwards thinking about how, oh, we could have communicated that a little better, or I don't trust your ass, or somebody got their priorities messed all the way up. So I concur with all of these as three of the most common ones. So, number one, communication breakdowns look like unmet expectations, misunderstandings, heavy on the misunderstandings, and feelings of being unheard. All of those things may lead to conflict. My man and I have the most ridiculous issue. So, when it comes to like inviting me to events, if I have other things going on, I will feel a certain type of way if I'm not asked a certain way. So it's like just a certain way of communicating with me. So you have to specifically say, would you like to come to this event with me? What do you have going on? Are you busy or anything like that? But in his mind, he's expecting me to be there anyway. But I sometimes have a lot going on, so I'll feel overwhelmed and stressed. So I'll feel like if he says something like, oh, I'm going to this event and if you want to go, that's fine. So to me, in my mind, I'm already not going because I feel like you don't want me to go. But in his mind, he's asking me that way because he doesn't want me to feel obligated. So that's one of the communication things there that is so easily fixed, but somehow it can be difficult. So, what about when you expect something of someone and vice versa, and that expectation is unmet? For example, a friend, family member, anyone may have a specific expectation that when they are celebrating their birthday, everybody that they're close to is expected to be there. Makes sense. But what if you typically sometimes may have trips that are overseas, you know, somewhere out of the country or something, and you still expect those same people to be able to make those trips as well. So not taking into account maybe their finances, goals that they may have that they're trying to reach, where they may not have the money to travel out of state or somewhere for a prolonged time. Not only just that, but like the time out of work and things like that. So those may be expectations that someone may have that may be unmet, but it's all really communicative because you should be making sure that you communicate with your friends and family appropriately so that you know maybe the person can't make it. They would love to make it, but they can't. But you have to be a little understanding of that. So there's the example. But another one is you may have feelings of being unheard. Have you ever felt like you were telling your feelings and like you were being gaslit or manipulated or constantly having to repeat yourself and there's no changes being made? That will definitely make you feel like you're being unheard. So the next quarrel we'll talk about is trust issues, which everybody knows what that is. When you have concerns about loyalty, honesty, and transparency, there are some trust issues. This will cause so much strain on the relationship of any kind and will always lead to frequent arguments. And beat your man with the phone on social media and other girls' lives. You know what I'm talking about. I couldn't do it, y'all. I could not. I think it's so disrespectful because why? Or might be your girl with all the comments from men on her pics and inbox blowing up. Many people be like, I don't trust your ass. And are they honest about it? So what about little white lies? I can't trust nobody that be telling white lies because what? Why would you be making up little lies about stuff that doesn't even matter? What are the bigger stuff that you'll lie about? And friends and trust and honesty is big too, because can I trust you? Am I venting to you and you're turning around and telling it to someone else? You be lying? I'm going to question everything you say. And I promise if I tell you something confidentially and I find out you told somebody else, I swear I won't tell you nothing else. You might ask me, you see how bad it was raining today? And I'm going to be like, shoot, I don't know. I don't even know. That was crazy. Because I plead the fifth. You ain't going to tell nobody I told you nothing no more. But number 3, last, is balancing time and priorities. I'm not going to lie. This is me right here. Right after communication for me comes the damn balancing time. I got my priorities in order, but it's that motherfucking time that always seems to get away from me. It's actually sick. When priorities are messed up and time is not balanced appropriately, this can leave one party feeling neglected. If there is also a conflict in expectations surrounding how time should be spent versus time on personal and or business commitments, it's another issue. But I have this problem with balancing time. Like, I have a very specific routine that I have to follow. Like, I got to do my certain morning rituals, and sometimes I move very slow. I don't know why, and I get overwhelmed easily. So that has caused me, especially if there's any last minute events, they really ruffle my feathers, and that has caused me to miss certain events or be late, especially if it's something that I didn't plan, because I will typically plan, like if it's Sunday or Monday, I already have that upcoming week planned, especially my weekends. So it's crazy, but it will cause issues with my partner and I sometimes, because he may feel neglected if I can't make it because I'm struggling with my own routine. I'm just not there on time. And it also can affect time with your friends if you're not managing it appropriately, and how they may sometimes think that you're drifting away or not making time for them, or that you only care about your partner and things like that. And if it was me, I honestly would feel the same way. So I got to get my shit together. But spending also a lot of time on work or goals or your business ventures, that can cause strain too, because if you're not really balancing the time appropriately, then that could cause strain in your relationship. So how do we fix this? How do we cope, manage, and make sure that these things aren't the death of our precious relationships? So, number 1, let's start with some tips on how to prevent communication breakdowns. Active listening. You didn't know it was that easy, did you? But how I know this one and still be listening to answer. Like, I got to work on this one myself, y'all. In order to be actively listening, you have to truly listen to what the other person is saying without interrupting. This shows respect and helps you hear everything that's being said before responding. For me, it's like I only listen for the stuff I disagree with and immediately get defensive and can't wait to fire back. Don't be like me. I have to really listen, see it from their perspective, and when it's my turn, ensure I understand and perhaps acknowledge their feelings. This all makes the other person feel heard and seen. Next, always clarify and confirm by paraphrasing back to them what you heard and confirming you have a clear understanding of what's being said. You want to avoid misunderstandings, and please don't assume you've understood everything correctly. Verify. That's something that I don't always remember to do, is to paraphrase and repeat what I'm hearing. And I don't mean repeat it in like a fucked up way, like, oh, so you're saying, and then say something that they did not say. So, not that. And also use I statements, because you do not, I repeat, you do not want to sound accusatory. We love to start a sentence off with you always or you never. And that always ends up with the other person immediately having to defend themselves, We got to remember to frame our feelings by using I statements to express how their actions impact you, me, us, ourselves. Statements like I feel, for example, I try to incorporate these kinds of statements, but only works when I take a break and think. Like I take a minute, don't be like rushing. Then you can really think about what you want to say. I struggle with expressing my feelings, and sometimes I have to work extra hard on this because I have a hard time starting these sentences and things like that with my feelings and how I feel and things like that. So this is stuff that I'm working on too, y'all. Number 4 is to stay present and focused by giving your full undivided attention when in conversation with your partner, friend, or family member. That means no TV, no phones, and stay on topic and stop bringing up past issues. I'm talking to my damn self here. Cut that out. I know I ain't the only one. Hey, nobody said I was perfect. I'm sharing this stuff with y'all because I need to hear this too. So don't feel bad. I mean, do feel bad if you're not trying to fix this though, because that ain't it. But sometimes I may be on my phone before something comes up in conversation, and I'll think because it's not social media, it's not that serious, but it is. It's so rude. And I'll be keeping my phone down from here on out. And sometimes I do bring up the past in conversations, and I gotta do better. This applies to all relationships, so let's be better. The next one is to be honest and direct. Be open by sharing your thoughts and feelings. Always be honest about something that's bothering you, because if you don't, it'll cause a buildup that will turn into a bigger issue. So, an example of things you may have let slide with friends and it caused a bigger issue, like maybe sneak dissing. You know how, I don't know. I think we've all had a friend that is always saying some low key diss, and it's supposed to be a joke, but it's always some type of negative comment or something like that. And you might let it slide and slide and slide. I had a friend like that, and eventually I could just cut her off. I was like, yeah, you're done. And I haven't talked to her again. But it's probably something that I should have spoke with her about in the beginning. But I decided just to cut her off because it wasn't worth it to me. Another one is to practice empathy. I said this before, so see the other person's perspective. Put yourself in their shoes and be sure to acknowledge their feelings. Approach the conversation with kindness and understanding, even if you don't agree. So, of course, we've all dealt with that, and it can be a struggle for me too, but I just have to remember to look at it from their perspective. And lastly, take a break if needed. Take a break and come back to the conversation later. If emotions are running high and things are about to get heated, it's okay to take a break until you both are calmer. This will help prevent you from saying things that you might regret. So, I'm actually good at not saying things in the heat of the moment when I'm upset, like things that I don't mean that I'll regret. That's never been my thing. So I'm like confused at people that just say crazy shit, but a lot of people do. But we have personally developed like a code word if we're to the point where we, don't want to discuss something anymore until later. So coming up with a code word is good too. So now tips on dealing with trust issues. Date someone you trust. The end. And last, no sir. I mean, yes, but it's more than that. The first one is to be transparent and honest. Be open and honest with your partner, friend, or family member. Share your intentions, thoughts, and feelings honestly. And this will help build that foundation of trust. Next, keep your promises. If you're constantly out here breaking promises, you are untrustworthy, sir, ma'am. That's it. It's that simple. Follow through on your commitments, no matter how small they are. When you consistently keep your word, it reinforces reliability and trustworthiness. So you tell me you're going to buy me some food at Baja's. I expect a damn burrito. You ain't even got to say you promise. You said it, so buy me my food or you're untrustworthy. That's it. Number 3, set clear boundaries. Boundaries are so important. I've been standing on them more and more as of late, and I must say it's so important. We got to do it. It helps make both parties feel secure. All you have to do is discuss what's important to each of you, and y'all got to honor those limits. So, for example, for me, one of my boundaries is my me time. And I think it's very important to myself. I need a certain amount of personal time to myself each week, or, just whenever I need it. And when you do this, it helps you with your mental health and well being because you need time to feel balanced and refreshed. And this boundary helps maintain individuality and ensure both parties bring their best selves to the relationship. Number 4, avoid secrecy. Don't be hiding shit. Don't be sneaky. Yuck. Doing that stuff creates suspicion, so just don't do it. Even if you think it's harmless, practice being open and with both your words and actions. Be consistent. Consistency is one of the things that really gets me to see that I can start to trust someone. It's so important. You got to be consistent in not only your behavior, but your emotions and communication. This creates a sense of security, and I love me some security. Align your actions with your words, and trust will grow organically. Another one is to acknowledge past hurts. So acknowledge the past. Don't dwell in it. Be honest about it. And if there have been trust issues for you in the past, and discuss how you'll avoid the same mistakes going forward. In order to rebuild trust, you gotta heal old wounds. Number 7 is to communicate expectations. Don't be out here just having expectations and not voicing them appropriately. That's a good way to disappoint yourself. So openly discuss your expectations around trust. It's important to know what each person needs to feel secure because it helps prevent misunderstandings and builds trust. Next, give the benefit of the doubt. Not gonna lie, sometimes I be jumping to conclusions like it's my damn job and looking stupid. So give your friend or partner the benefit of the doubt unless otherwise proven. Trust will deteriorate quickly and unnecessarily if this is your go-to. Number 9, practice forgiveness. Now, forgiveness ain't for everything, but that's for another episode. But forgiveness and rebuilding must be worked on if trust is broken. If it's a forgivable matter, you cannot hold grudges because that will only hinder the rebuilding process and prolong trust issues. Forgiving will allow you to move forward together. Lastly, for this group, invest in the relationship. Both parties need to feel prioritized and valued, and trust will naturally deepen. This can be done by regularly showing affection, appreciation, and commitment. I've witnessed for myself how much these things dramatically help improve relationships. It's those random hugs and kisses and cuddles for me. And for the last bunch of tips, how do we balance our time and priorities in our relationships? Number 1 is schedule quality time. We have to be sure to take priority in scheduling regular, intentional quality time with one another. This could look like a weekly check-in, date night, or a quiet evening together, but this has to be a dedicated time for y'all. This way you can maintain a connection no matter how busy you are. I've noticed that when we get too busy, my man takes the opportunity to say, let's go out and do something. You haven't been out in a minute. So, but we may also decide to watch a movie, have a movie night, do something with the kids or cuddle. Number 2 is communicate your needs. Be open about the time you'd like and need to spend with your partner, friend, or family member, as opposed to your personal and professional commitments. You can prevent feelings of resentment or neglect by understanding each other's needs. Number 3 is to set priorities together. We need to be sure that we're discussing and aligning our priorities and relationship goals. This way, we're on the same page and we agree on where our focus should be and what's the most important. If this is done appropriately, we should both feel like each other's priorities in the relationships. Number 4 is to be flexible and compromise. I love to stick to a schedule because I feel unorganized and a bit chaotic when I can't, especially if it's something I've meticulously put together. I'm a schedule girly. But we have to learn to be flexible because the unexpected can happen. Life is unpredictable, so it's important to be able to work together to adjust plans instead of trying to rigidly stick to a schedule. I know I struggle with this and I have to work on it because it's the last minute shit that ruffles my feathers and makes me not want to do nothing. And number 5 is to support each other's personal time. We should be absolutely encouraging one another to pursue interests, hobbies, passions, goals, all of the things. By doing this, we are balancing the together time with the me time, and this helps strengthen your relationship because you're allowing fulfillment and personal growth. I have to feel like I'm fulfilled and growing, or my life will personally be in shambles. I can't stand the feeling of being stagnant, so my partner or whoever gotta let me have that. Be supportive. Number 6, avoid overcommitment. Not gonna lie, I love saying no. Being single was much easier to say no if I felt overwhelmed, but now that I'm in a relationship, I have to be a bit more considerate while also honoring myself. So outside of housework, I try not to overcommit and do everything at once. We have to learn to say no when necessary and prioritize the most important commitments. We want to ensure the time we do spend with one another is quality time and that we're reducing stress as well. So there are a lot of events and things that I second-handedly am committed to by default. So that causes stress for me. So sometimes I have to take a break from certain social events if I have, other things going on. So I have to kind of just know what I can do, what I can switch up and things like that. I'm trying to get better with it. Number 7 is check in regularly. So my therapist recommended this, and although we haven't implemented it yet, I think it's a key ingredient and we should start. This involves regular, maybe weekly conversations about how you're both feeling regarding your time and priorities. Doing this allows you to catch on fairly early to any concerns that need to be addressed, and you can make the adjustments. Better suited than later when the concerns may turn into issues. So I like a weekly conversation, say like on a Sunday reset of sorts. Number 8 is share responsibilities. In today's day and age, this one can be a doozy, but it doesn't have to be. That can be for another episode too, but tasks and responsibilities should be divided fairly to avoid either person feeling overwhelmed. The most important thing is to do what works best for your relationship. People are hung up on gender roles, etc., and what they see on social media. But the reality is most of us work 9 to 5s. We are not home all day, so the responsibilities and tasks should be something you both do because no one should feel like they're taking on a heavier burden than the other. Ever. It sucks. So discuss this and do what works for the both of you. Both parties should feel supported and valued, which will create a balanced partnership as well. Number 9 is to be present. I'm sure everyone can think of ways they can be more present. With all the distractions we have today, we got to be better. And by we, I do mean me. No, but for real, be fully present when together. Put away those distractions and make the most of the time you have together. You'll be glad you did. And last but not least, plan ahead. Ensure you don't lose touch in busier times by simply planning ahead. It's nice to have something to look forward to together, like planning a movie night or booking a weekend getaway. This keeps your connection strong. I love looking forward to a time I know it's coming where I get to spend some quality time with my loved ones. So that's it for now. I hope y'all found these tips helpful. I did and will be implementing them myself going forward. We all have a little work we can be doing, so let's do it. So, what am I reading? Well, the book that I'm going to discuss today, I'm not currently reading. I actually read that in May 9th to May 14th, so 6 days. I got this on Audible, I believe, and it's called They Both Die at the End by Adam Salerva. Yeah, I'm definitely not currently reading this, but I can't wait to discuss what I am actually reading, hopefully next week. But this book was pretty good. I was a little skeptical at first, but kept reading or listening. It was a few different people's stories in a time where a system called Deathcast will call you and let you know that you have 24 hours to live. It's actually kind of wild idea. So the people don't know how or exactly when, but they know that it'll be within 24 hours and they'll be dead. So you get to read or listen to people's stories and friendships or lack thereof surrounding this shit. It's definitely worth a read, and I give it an 8 out of 10. Wow, that music sounds so serious, don't it? But what's going on? This segment, like some news, pop culture update, whatever I feel like talking about. But this election stuff is heating up, for one. But there are also still a lot of new food recalls literally every day, and we cannot eat anything, especially our fruits and vegetables that are the most sketchy, which is crazy. It's giving attack on American food, but I don't know. But for real, be careful out there, y'all. On September 4th, 2024, there was a shooting at Appalachia, I think, High School in Winder, Georgia. So 2 14-year-old students and 2 teachers were killed. 9 other people, so 8 students and a teacher were injured, but they're expected to survive. My condolences go out to all the families and friends involved and affected by this tragedy. I can't imagine it. It's so sad that kids can't even enjoy their first week of school or first day of school without having to worry about a school shooting. It shouldn't be like this. And the 14-year-old student suspect and now his father have been arrested, and the father's been charged with murder. Stop giving your kids guns. The more I read about this, the more I learn how it could have been prevented, and I can't stand it. And that's all I have for now for the latest news. So it is time for the Infinite Allure tip of the day. I want you to set aside 15 minutes to check in with your partner or close friend. Ask them how they're feeling, what's on their mind, and how you can support each other's needs this week. Small, intentional moments like these can help maintain balance and deepen your connection. Healthy relationships thrive when we balance togetherness with personal space. Make time for each other, but don't forget to nurture yourself. A well-balanced relationship allows both individuals to grow while strengthening the bond you share. Try it and let me know how it turns out. So that is it for this week's episode. I promise to be more consistent. I will. And you definitely want to tune in next week because it's going to be a fall-themed episode where we'll be discussing preparing for the seasons changing, and you don't want to miss it. So stay well, be good, and take care of yourselves. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please take a moment to like, share, and leave a review. It greatly supports our growth. I'm dedicated to expanding our community of like-minded individuals who pursue boundless beauty in every aspect of life. Take care, and let's keep reaching for infinite allure together. Until next time. If you'd like to connect with me and join the Infinite Allure community, follow me on social media for updates, behind the scenes content, and more ways to explore boundless beauty in every facet of life. As of now, my social medias mainly consist of daily affirmations and updating you all with my blog and podcast information. You can check me out on my website, myinfiniteallure.com, or add me on Instagram and Facebook, both at Black Girl Infinite Allure Podcast, or follow me on TikTok at Black Girl Infinite Allure. For inquiries, collaborations, or to share your thoughts, email me at infiniteallurebyj@gmail.com. Thank you for listening and continuing to strive for all things infinite allure. And remember, I will also have this information in the description box.